G'day legends, welcome to another installment of 5-Minute Tones. On today's video, I want to break down this spiral delay patch on the Axe-Fx. It's really a story about so much more than delay though. It's a story about vintage rack gear, the power of the Fractal, and also the amazing people you meet in the Fractal community. Straight up, I want to thank my buddy Nicholas over in Sweden for cracking this patch. I did a little bit of measuring of my particular unit and we went back and forth trying to recreate a particular patch from an old Sony rack unit. We'll talk about it in a second. I'll just let you hear it first. Pay very special attention to, say, every fourth repeat on this panning delay tone. Now, sitting here with studio monitors, or if you're listening in stereo with headphones, to me it's kind of like you hear the regular delay kind of pan across per repeat, but then that fourth repeat like swims around the back of your head. There is a very special phase relationship going on with these delays, and the old Sony DPS M7, I got one sent to me by the patron saint of the channel, Mr. Brian Hook. Shout out to Brian. Great sounding unit. I was kind of exploring it. I've got a video on my channel about it, and there was this one preset on there called Spiral Delay, which blew my mind. It sounded so amazing, and to me it really stood out amongst all the other presets on there. So I immediately went, how do I recreate this on the Axe-Fx? And I tried and tried. I eventually reached out to Nicholas, who is somebody on the forum who has put together some amazing presets and blocks. They helped me out measure my old Eventide and my 2290 and a bunch of other fun stuff. So we've corresponded via email before, and I just said, hey, there's this particular patch, I'm having a really hard time recreating it, can you help me out? And we went back and forth, and eventually they kind of cracked it. If you read the manual, basically this patch is a 300 millisecond delay, but you've got 4 different panning LFOs in there that create that really unique stereo image. So we needed 4 separate panners, which is kind of difficult because we only have 2 independent LFOs in the controller section in here. The really clever part though is you can offset the phase of the secondary output of one of these LFOs, and then we can use the quad chromatic mode in the pitch block, which gives us 4 pitch voices. We're not going to use the pitch voices in here. We're going to use the panners and the levels in there. So check out what Nicholas put together here. The first one, we've just assigned this level control to the first LFO. The second one, this one's going to be 180 degrees out of phase here. So we've just changed the start and end values over here. That's going to mean that this is at a minimum when the other's at a maximum, and vice versa. So they're 180 degrees out of phase. And then the LFO output B is offset by 45 degrees. This particular patch had LFO offsets. This is on the Sony of 0, 45, 180, and 225, which is 45 more than 180. So you can see this one has got LFO 1B plugged in, and then it's the same trick on level 4. These values are reversed. Pretty straightforward. All you have to get right then is to get the rate at 0.41. That's the same value that's in the Sony, exactly like this delay in here, and you get this pretty glorious delay sound. Let's hear it again. So it's pretty amazing that we have all the tools available to recreate this obscure algorithm from an obscure old rack unit, but we can go further on the Axe-Fx and tempo sync this. Basically, I want a delay value in here that is a particular subdivision of the tempo, for example, a dotted 8th note in here. And what was happening with the rate before was basically whatever this particular tempo value was, if you multiplied it by 8, that was the value for the panning LFO over here. So I've just done that, like 8 times a dotted 8th note gives me a dotted whole tone over here. You can see it's actually even more accurate than before, so 0.41 hertz. If I just tap in a different tempo, this is going to keep everything nice and behaved over here, where my delay time is going to be scaled along with that panning time, so that when I get to that 4th repeat, I've got that magic kind of LFO offset where it sounds super wide. I know this is super nerdy, but I think this sounds pretty epic. the preset on Exchange, you can go through and say save the delay, the pitch, and the controllers into your blocks library. I save the controllers as spiralizer, and then I've just kind of done spiral delay block A and block B. That's how I would name them in my units, but you can name them whatever you like. That is the fun with this particular system. Again, massive thank you to my buddy Nicholas for helping out so much with this one. Send him some love in the comments, and I will play you all out with this glorious spiral delay. I hope you all have a great time, and I hope you all have some fun making some music with this awesome patch. You know, the Fractal is not only inspiring new sounds, but it is like a living museum of some of the great tones of the past. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.